Most unusual places in the world. Located in Quebec, Canada, this forest has a pretty creepy atmosphere. It might be because the ground looks like it's moving, making it seem like Mother Earth is taking a deep breath. This next one is actually terrifying. Located in Penang, Malaysia, this huge water tornado was getting extremely close to this apartment building. Fortunately, it stopped right in front of the building because it ran out of water. And how about this one? It used to be a hiking area before it got flooded, so everything you see here used to be above water. Imagine being a fish and seeing this appear out of nowhere.
The last one completely blew my mind. There exists a plankton called dinoflagellates that if you consume it, will reverse your sense of hot and cold, and it can last for years. Scientists recently discovered some sharks living in an active volcano, but they can't get in to study them because, well, it's a volcano and it's too hot. In 1972, Vesna Vulovic fell out of a plane at 33,000 feet, no parachute, and lived. Sour Patch Kids and Swedish Fish are made by the same manufacturer, and in fact, the red Sour Patch Kid is literally a Swedish fish, except with sour sugar on it. The only people that know how to open the United States president's car doors are the Secret Service. And last but not least, 1 million people got together and decided to follow this clown on TikTok. And I've got to say, guys, I'm touched. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much for giving me this platform and for supporting me. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Here are facts you probably didn't know that one day could save your life. Part 6. If you see money falling from buildings, do not pick it up. Get out of there immediately. It's a way terrorists gather more people into a collected area. If you smell cinnamon in your drink, do not drink it. It's a cover-up for poison. If you're in the woods with nothing to eat, the yellow dandelions are fully edible. If you get bitten and poisoned, do not suck it. This will only make it worse. If you see a white fuzzy spot on your banana, do not eat it. This is a spider infestation. If the air starts to smell like chlorine during a storm, it means lightning might hit the area you're standing in very soon. If you or someone else is eating a fruit and they complain about it tasting fuzzy or hairy, it might mean that they're allergic to it. If you need heat or a light, a crayon will burn for 14 minutes. If you're outside and you're freezing and then all of a sudden you feel warm with no explanation, do not remove your clothes. You're about to die and your body is spending its very last energy heating you up. Seek shelter and warmth immediately.
Crazy coincidences you won't believe are true. Almost 40 years ago now, the world was in shock when a 17-year-old boy was knocked off his moped and killed by a taxi. The reason why everyone was shocked was because almost exactly 1 year prior, his at the time also 17-year-old brother was killed on the same street by a taxi on the exact same moped. You're probably thinking, okay, mopeds are dangerous and maybe they were driving recklessly and maybe they lived in the same place, so the same street would be likely. Well, it gets even weirder. The taxi that hit the second brother was the same taxi that hit the first brother. The taxi driver that hit the second brother was the same taxi driver as well. The taxi driver was carrying the same passenger as the first incident. Follow for more.
This man is scared he will never die. Ismail Azizi from Tanzania has reportedly been declared medically dead by doctors on 6 separate occasions, but has come back to life every single time and no one can explain how. In a recent documentary by Afromax, they report that the first time he died was after a workplace accident. He was taken to the hospital in critical condition and soon after, doctors declared him dead, not some randoms off the street. His body was taken to the morgue while his family started preparing his funeral. But to their bewilderment, he regained consciousness and walked out of the morgue onto the street like he was taking a nap. And that was only round 1. He died again after catching malaria, but this time he made it all the way to the coffin before yet again waking up at his own funeral. Now this became a literal cycle for years. Death 3 was after a car accident where he collided with a fuel tank and put him in a coma. But like clockwork at this point, after being pronounced dead by medical professionals again, he woke up. And at this point, even the doctors were getting freaked out. Death 4 was after he got bit by a venomous snake, but this time he spent a whopping 3 days in the morgue. And that really convinced his family that Ishmael was gone for good this time. But no, because when they went to go retrieve his body for his 4th funeral, he woke up again. Now, after his 5th death, he fell into a toilet pit. His community started getting a little scared, and they became convinced beyond reasonable doubt that he was a witch or a ghost. So you know what they decided to do? Burn his house down with him inside to try and kill him for the 6th and final time. And guess what? They were successful. Until he woke up again. Bro, I'd be scared too. I couldn't die. And now, after all of this, he has to live in an isolated old house with no neighbors. Because apparently, he's a bit of a local legend and people are too scared to live near him. He also said he can't get a job either as a result of the stigma. Bro, one meeting with JD Vance, cook him for sure.
We might have discovered hell on Earth. This is the deepest man-made hole on Earth. It goes 7.5 miles deep, and it took 19 years to create. Many weird and strange things were discovered as they were digging. But when they lowered a microphone all the way down, they captured this audio. And many people believe it's the underworld.
The most dangerous toys that were released to the public. Up first, we have clackers. Clackers were these balls you would smack together to create these really annoying noises. The acrylic balls would often crack or shatter into tiny shards that could then fly into your face and injure you. Another toy was called the Easy Bake Oven, which was recalled not once but 2 times in 2007, after several children burned their fingers getting caught in the miniature appliances. One girl even had part of her finger amputated. The company has since released a new version with an electric heating element instead of a light bulb. And then there was the Rollerblade Barbie. The Rollerblade Barbie had a cigarette lighter-like device in her skates that would legitimately shoot out sparks when rolled on a flat surface. If this rolled over anything flammable, you had a massive problem. Places you should never swim. Part 1. Firstly, the boiling lake of Dominica. What makes it so dangerous is the boiling magma under the surface. It's so hot that swimming in it would burn all the skin off your body. Jacob's Well is a lake located in Texas. It's so clear that you can see right to the bottom. But if you ever swam down here, you wouldn't make it out alive. The lake is filled with hidden caves, so finding a way out would be nearly impossible. Finally, the Nile River. It's filled with crocodiles everywhere that could kill you. And if you somehow escape the crocodiles, you'll have to get through snakes. And as you try to get out, you'll run into at least 15 venomous species.
Places where people are not allowed to go. Area 51. A top-secret U.S. military base buried in the Nevada desert, rumored to hold alien tech and spy planes. It's strictly off-limits. Armed guards patrol 24/7, and trespassers risk arrest or worse. You can't even fly over it. Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Buried deep inside a mountain in the Arctic, this vault stores over 1 million seeds from all around the world, just in case of global disaster. It's heavily secured, climate controlled, and almost no one is allowed inside. It's Earth's backup plan. North Sentinel Island. This island is home to the uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. They're so isolated, even helicopters get attacked with arrows. Indian law makes it illegal to go near them. Outsiders have been killed for trying. It's one of the most dangerous places you can't visit.
Let's see if you have a phobia. I'm going to show you 5 photos. If you feel too uncomfortable to make it to the 5th photo, then you could have a phobia. So let's go. Number 1. Feeling uncomfortable yet? And how about this? Nearly there. Last one. If those photos made you feel uncomfortable, then you could have a phobia, which is the fear of snakes. Follow now to see if you can make it through the next phobia test.
Here are the 3 worst jails on Earth. And trust me, you would rather anything than end up in one of these. Number 3, we have the Scorpion Jail in Egypt. The jail is in the middle of the desert, so you would be absolutely boiling all of the time. Most of the cells are extremely small and you would be in one on your own. There are no beds, no nothing. Just you in a little cage. Makes this so bad as it's also a coffin jail. If you've done something extremely bad, you could end up in one of these coffins. You're literally buried under the ground and wait to die. Number 2, the Bangkok Hilton. In this prison, you'll be thrown in a cell with up to 20 people. No beds, just a bucket in the middle of the room for a toilet. These prisons are so corrupt, they're pretty much run by the corrupt guards and horrible inmates. So if you don't have money in there, you're screwed. Number 1, the Black Dolphin Jail in Russia. The place is right in the middle of nowhere, so there's no chance of you getting out of there. Everywhere you go, you're blindfolded, so you're disorientated. Cells also have 3 layers of bars, so there's no chance of getting out. The guards here are extremely violent and harsh. If you do anything wrong, they'll probably kill you.
Iron Eyes Yeast presents Light Out.
The darkest Christmas traditions to ever exist. Many European countries celebrated the character Krampus, who was basically the devil compared to Saint Nick. He was a demonic goat monster that would go around whipping bad children and kidnapping them in his sack and enslave them. This is actually kind of where the whole elves thing came from. In Austria and Bavaria, they don't have Santa Claus, they have someone named Frau Perchta. She was sort of like the witch version of Santa Claus and would also see who was naughty or nice. But instead of giving bad children coal, she would slit open their stomachs and fill them up with straw. In Iceland, you better pray that you get socks for Christmas. For there, they have the Yule Cat, and any children that don't get clothes for Christmas get devoured by the Yule Cat. And if you didn't get any new clothes, you had to leave your old ones out for the cat to see and pray to God they meet his standards. In France, they tell the story of Hans Trapp, a man who decided to cannibalize children after being kicked out of the church. He returns every year on Christmas disguised as a scarecrow, going door from door looking for children to eat.
In 2003, a young woman was hitchhiking home. The cold air and quiet roads that night forced her to break her own rule of only getting into cars with women drivers. A car pulled up. An old man driving. Thinking to herself she's only 15 minutes from being home and warm, she got in. They neared the exit to her home, but instead of making the turn, the man accelerated past. Terrified, she shouted at him to stop, but he carried on and stared blankly at the road. Desperately, she thought about jumping from the car, but when she looked at the door, the handle had been removed. He turned to look at her, then abruptly veered into a gas station. He put his head in his hands and told her to get out. Confused but relieved, she grabbed her stuff and almost fell out of the car. She got to the door of the gas station and realised her hat was still on the seat. She went back to get it. The man silently handed the hat back to her and drove away. Inside was a $50 bill and a note. Take a taxi home and stop hitchhiking.
A 35-year-old schoolteacher was arrested after luring her students into a demonic ritual. This woman is known as Danielle Harkins. She was a schoolteacher in St. Petersburg, Florida, and she was supposedly acting strange in 2012. And apparently she developed a huge interest in demonic rituals. Danielle told the kids that they needed to go to this fire at the pier on Saturday. Once the kids arrived to this little hangout at the pier, she then grabbed a knife. She then told these children that they had to cut themselves in order to release this demonic spirit. And if that's not bad enough, she then told the children that they had to burn their wounds so the spirit would not return. Just to show you how bad this really was, a student gave their testimony report, and I'm just gonna read it to you. Apparently, the school teacher held a lighter at this child's hand, and when the lighter went out because of the wind, she then doused his hand in perfume and set it on fire that gave him second-degree burns. And the craziest part about it is, none of the students snitched. None of them. There's a lot more to this story. Click the link in my bio to join my Discord server so you guys can read the news article. I just can't say it on TikTok.
Most impossible places to visit in the world. 9. Snake Island. 8. Bohemian Grove. 7. Base Vostok. 6. Metro 2. 5. Ark of the Covenant Vault. 4. North Sentinel. 3. Room 39. 2. Area 51. 1. Vatican Library.
Five worst countries to travel to as a gay couple.
This is the worst prison in the entire world. Trust me when I say you would rather be anywhere than here. This right here is the Dolphin prison, which is in Russia. And this prison is literally in the middle of nowhere. So if you try to escape, you just die anyway. When arriving here, inmates are blindfolded so they can't see their surroundings, and have no clue where they are. They're then taken inside to their cells, which are just horrific. The cells are triple caged. If you want to get out of here or try to escape, you'd have to get through 3 barriers, instead of just the one in the normal prison. Now literally the only thing you would see in this prison is your cell. Because when you're being transported around the place to different areas, you're always blindfolded. Because they don't want you to see what the prison looks like in case you wanted to try and escape. Inmates would get an hour a day of blindfolded free time. So they're blindfolded, but they're allowed to get some fresh air. And have food, of course. Now on top of this, every single person in this prison is serving a life sentence. Don't get anyone else in there, you're only in there if you're serving your life. What makes it even worse is the guards keep you under 24-hour surveillance, every inmate, when you're in your cell where you're everywhere. Hell.
Here are 3 new horror movie releases that you need to be watching on Tubi for free right now. And these ones are some of my favorites. Before I get into it, if you guys are new here and love horror movies, I'd love for you to follow me here as well as Instagram. First, I have an extremely underrated horror comedy starring Bill Skarsgård and Micah Monroe called Villains. Bill and Micah play a couple who are kind of new to thieving. And their car breaks down. And they find a house close by and they try to break in to see if they can find anything to help. As they're browsing around the house, the owners show up at the home. And things will take a wild turn that they did not expect. And let's just say these owners are not going to want them to leave. This movie gets a beautiful 8.5 out of 10. This movie was absolutely phenomenal. Next is 1BR. The story follows a woman named Sarah who moves to Los Angeles. She thinks she found the perfect apartment complex and the great 1-bedroom apartment. However, she is soon going to realize that this building she moved into is full of a cult. And the people here are extremely weird. This movie had a very eerie vibe about it. It wasn't necessarily scary, but it was eerie. I'll give it about a 7.5 out of 10. It definitely kept me engaged. And finally, I absolutely love this movie so much. It is called Haunt. And if you have not seen this, this is my #1 recommendation out of all 3 of these. This movie is about a group of friends who are wanting to go to a haunted house for Halloween, and they end up finding one. However, they're soon about to find out that this haunted house will not be like any other. That this haunted house is going to be the home of where some nightmares are actually real. This movie really did freak me out, and it was extremely well done, easily a 10 out of 10. The acting was superb and the gore was done very well. Let me know in the comments if you guys plan to watch any of these movies, and if you've seen them, your thoughts and opinions on the films. Remember to like, favorite, repost, and follow for more.
What actually happens if you don't name your child? First of all, the government gives you 32 days to name your child, which is pretty ridiculous because, I mean, if you're having a child, you should know the name for it. But anyway, you get 32 days. After that 32 days is up, and if you still haven't decided on a name for your child, well, then things get interesting. You will be fined £200 every single week by the government until you decide the baby's name. After this, you get another week, and if you still don't decide, a government official picks the name for the baby. They could literally just pick the most ridiculous name for you, which would be gutting. So just name your kids. It's not that hard.
I'm the bad guy.
The world's worst prison just opened its doors, and it might be the closest thing to hell on earth. It's already under fire for its truly horrific conditions. Brace yourself. El Salvador's president has just announced the opening of this mega prison, the largest on the continent, said to house 40,000 alleged gang members arrested without warrants. Each cell will cram over 100 inmates with only 80 beds, not even one bed per person. And these are metal beds without mattresses. Worse still, there would only be 2 toilets and 2 sinks per cell for 100 men. The 40,000 inmates will be watched over by 600 military personnel and 250 police officers, and they'll only be allowed out of their cell for virtual court hearings, or to be placed in solitary if they misbehave in their windowless cell. So far, 4,000 prisoners have already been transferred there. For the past year, El Salvador's president has been waging a ruthless war on gangs that plague the country and run its prisons. This new policy reportedly already halved the country's homicide rate, which used to be the highest in the world. On the flip side, several human rights organizations are already condemning the inhumane conditions of this prison, which opened less than a month ago. What do you think about this?
So I found these conspiracy theories that are so believable, they actually might be true. Number 1, studies show that cats understand human commands but don't care to follow them. Yeah, I don't like cats. I'm a dog kind of guy. Number 2, it is believed that when you die in a dream, you wake up because your brain doesn't know how to process the idea of what comes after death. Could be. I believe it. Number 3, now this is scary. The reason Disney came out with a movie called Frozen was so that when you Googled Disney Frozen, you would get information about the movie and not the websites talking about Walt Disney's body being frozen. I mean, I did see an article about this that was published in 1995. Not sure if this is true or not, but I do believe it. This is where it gets freaky. Number 4, Mike Tyson's fight, time traveler. This fight was in 1995. If you look closely, you can see that could be a smartphone. In fact, it does look like a smartphone to me. There were no smartphones in 1995. This is how phones used to look like in 1995. They didn't have cameras. They barely had any color. But this thing double flashed. Exactly like how an iPhone or an Android would take a picture. I don't know about time travel, but this is very interesting. I'd really like to know what this thing was. What's the creepiest conspiracy theory that you heard of?
The happy birthday song is a devil's ritual. It's true. Have you ever wondered where the happy birthday song originated from or why we sing it? Isn't it weird that during a birthday celebration candles are lit, lights are turned off, and everyone gets into a circle to chant, "Happy birthday to you," like a cult? Historical records suggest that in ancient times, humans lived remarkably long lives. Yet in our supposedly advanced era, lifespans appear to be on the decline. Legend has it that the happy birthday song was created by fallen angels to hide a ritual that would sell your soul as you grow older to control human civilization. Many believe every time this ritual is performed, it shortens your life. This so-called happy song has plagued society. So what do you think? Is the happy birthday song not actually happy?